I'm a massive fan of anything science fiction, especially when it leans into a more adult-orientated tone with its narrative, so I've been excited now about Fort Solis for some time with its promise of a bleak Mars landscape and a story centered around a mysterious and seemingly abandoned location. So let's take a look today and see if it's going to be worth an add to your library, and if you do enjoy the video, consider subscribing, it helps us out a huge amounts. The narrative truly takes the spotlight in Fort Solis, and I'm happy to report it doesn't disappoint. The story unfolds over 4 episodes, and to avert any spoilers, we'll only share details and clips from the initial stages of the gameplay. So here we're stepping into the shoes of Jack Leary, a Mars-based engineer, the day before he heads out on vacation. Now it opens up as we are working on a repair alongside our co-worker Jessica, but things take a turn when they receive a distress signal from a nearby mining base. Now it's going to be up to us to investigate. So we leave Jessica behind to complete the repairs we were already conducting, and we maintain contact here via radio as we do venture towards this new location. Now upon arrival, it is clear something is amiss. The base is deserted, and once we do get inside, there are signs of a violent struggle thanks to a significant amount of blood. Our task is to probe deeper, unravel the truth behind what occurred, and endure the night as a storm looms on the horizon. The tension quickly escalates as well, and it becomes clear we are potentially not alone. The narrative cleverly intertwines elements of horror and thriller, and yeah, I found the story intriguing. The writing is just strong, and the option here to explore and discover items that enrich the narrative and the lore of the game world, it is a really nice touch. That said though, the storytelling in Fort Solis, it isn't flawless. About 10% of the dialogue between Jack and Jessica, it didn't quite hit the mark for me. Initially, their exchanges are entertaining, establishing a backstory for these characters, but also kind of reinforcing their strong bond. However, as the situation intensifies, the dialogue seems to kind of lose direction, oscillating between panic and playful banter in this kind of disjointed way. It's as if they frequently forget the potentially dire circumstances they are facing. Immersing yourself in Fort Solis, you'll quickly realize it's a narrative cinematic adventure at its core. Here, player-controlled action sequences and combat, it is non-existent. Instead, the action unfolds through cutscenes with your participation limited to quick-time events and exploration. This style may not appeal to everyone, but I am fond of the formula as a fan of the genre, but also as a fan of things like FMVs. However, the placement of the QuickTime button prompts changing location all over the screen according to the action playing out. I will say that at least provides a challenge. So yeah, your main control in the game is over movement. You step into the shoes of Jack and have the ability to explore this base. Some might find the branching pathways and almost open location unnecessary, but it is worth exploring as it adds valuable insights into this world. The map is reasonably large as well, and I often found myself kind of veering off the main path just for the fun of it because I wanted to see what each of these different little locations potentially held for my knowledge. The developers have done a great job of creating this believable location. You know, it does feel lived in, yet it is devoid of people, and that is intriguing. This peculiarity piqued my curiosity and compelled me to explore further. Now, all of the data you are gathering then, be it recorded videos, audio logs, or emails, it's stored in a tech device attached to your wrist, and that is accessible at any time. I rewatched many of these from my moments of exploration because they are that enjoyable. This feature just kind of enriches the experience, and occasionally it will even be required to solve some minor optional environmental puzzles. Upon completing the game then, you can additionally dive into the extra menu to review the characters you met and the collectibles you found. I unlocked 62% of the characters, 61% of the collectibles, and 72% of the additional story content. Now, with multiple endings on offer, there's also an incentive to revisit the game. Fort Solis is basically designed to be replayed. You know, its short duration and chapter-based storytelling make it ideal for either binge playing in one session or enjoying episodically, much like a Netflix series, as it kind of proudly touts over on the PSN description. All in all though, my total run, it took just over 4 hours. However, Fort Solis' gameplay isn't without its flaws. The game's Achilles heel is the character's movement speed. While I usually don't mind a slower pace, games like Firewatch come to mind, in this case it just undermines the tension. The speed you see on the screen is the only speed available. For the slow burn introduction in episode 1, this makes perfect sense. You're an engineer thrust into a situation that is a mystery. All you really want to do is take a kind of leisurely, investigative stroll around your surroundings to figure it all out. The issue though begins to arise when the game's pace quickens. Cutscenes and quick-time events highlight the mounting tension. You're shown running, shouting, occasionally panicking, and this is mirrored in the frantic exchanges over the comm system. But despite all of this, your character seems to be strolling calmly as if it's a peaceful Sunday afternoon walk with your dog. This is a glaring problem. The game is trying to convey a sense of impending danger, asking you to be alarmed, but the leisurely pace at which you move kind of contradicts this sense of urgency. If I was truly in danger, wouldn't I be, running away? The absence of a sprint option just removes that illusion of danger. If a sprint option was introduced, it could significantly enhance the gameplay. Imagine being able to sprint down these corridors seeking that next required location. That's what fully immerses you in the situation, and it is what is missing. Perhaps this slow movement speed though is a byproduct of the short runtime. If I had the ability to sprint, I could have shortened that 4-hour journey significantly. I was completely engrossed in the first episode though of Fort Solis overall. The slow building tension was executed perfectly, the characters, they were compelling, and the location sparked intrigue. However, this lone design decision for gameplay, the enforced walking pace, managed to completely deflate the tension that was initially so perfectly built up. Visually, the game is stunning. Remember, it is an indie game, but it has AAA production values, and I loved this world. The opening is a highlight. You'll be working on some repairs before getting caught to the base to investigate, and while this is a mostly guided journey, the scenery and the opening credits, they have been executed perfectly. The game only further impresses from there. Character models, though limited, are expressive and feel realistic. The location gets it all right. It's massive, it feels lived in. You can see the technology that's, yes, ancient by the standards of your own equipment, but still futuristic. And then the lighting perfectly creates that desired tension and almost minor horror thriller theme. Things get even better then once you're briefly heading to locations where you can see the outdoors. Honestly, very few complaints about the visual design outside of the QuickTime prompts being a little too small given the fact they do pop up all over the screen, which does somewhat prove frustrating. It's going for something stylish, but all in one place honestly would have been a better gameplay experience, but that is really about it. Now let's dive into the audio aspect of Fort Solis, where they truly deliver on the cinematic experience. It is top quality. The music is stunning, expertly woven into the narrative to amplify the suspense and the atmosphere that the storyline alludes to, even when the gameplay momentarily loses sight of it. And alongside this, think the subtle creaks of machinery to distant howls of the storm outside. The sound effects here are perfect. They add a layer of eerie ambience that will have you longing for a sprint button. The voice acting then is a highlight, with the likes of Roger Clark, Troy Baker and Julia Brown lending their vocal talents to the game. The quality of the dialogue here is exceptional. They deliver their lines perfectly, and that is why it is so easy to get drawn into this story. It's really a demonstration of the power of strong writing meeting a great cast. Only one aspect of the audio didn't quite resonate with me. It was more about its timing rather than the content itself, but picture this. You've just witnessed something downright creepy, and then the character Jessica decides it's the perfect moment to interrogate you about your personal history, or maybe cracks a joke, even though she was panicking just seconds ago. They need to work on when audio cues are played, though I will admit that isn't frequent. So Fort Solis really starts strong in the first episode. The initial tension was impeccably crafted, the premise was more than enough to hook me, and the introduction of two extremely likeable characters was spot on. However, I was disappointed when it came to the evolution of the gameplay in the sense there really was none. That was the lack of a sprint function more than anything else to mirror the situational urgency presented in the game, and it was a crucial miss for me. Imagine hypothetically having a mere 30 seconds to vacate a room before it explodes, and I should note, this is not a situation in the game, but our protagonist would likely make themselves a cup of coffee before embarking on his unhurried shuffle towards the exit. Sure, look, the storyline is captivating, but this gameplay misstep, it hurts. I'm rating it today an above average 6 out of 10, but if you had asked me during my time with episode 1, would I recommend it to all, it would have been a yes. Now, I'd say it's more suited for narrative fans, particularly those who enjoy a good dose of science fiction, because through the issue, I still found the story entertaining. I just wish the moments I was in control felt directly connected to the events that were playing out, rather than feeling like I was simply shuffling around waiting for that next cutscene to kick in. So with that, are you going to be adding this one to the library? Let me know in the comments. Then hit subscribe, join us here for reviews, deals, news and lists daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.